Happy Vimy Ridge Day, everyone. Welcome to Douglas Weekly, the show where I go on about stuff and you get something out of it, hopefully. I'm going into politics, current events, and history. Today, I would like to discuss the Panama Papers. Let's get started. A law firm in Panama, Mossack Fonseca, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, their database was hacked, and a large amount of papers, about 11.5 million confidential documents, were leaked. To give you an idea of the amount of documents, Snowden handed over about 1.7 million classified documents when he whistleblowed the NSA. So we're looking at about 10 times as many files as that, roughly. The documents show how extremely wealthy people, aka 1%, used vehicles such as shell companies to hide money from public scrutiny, be it their fellow citizens, ex-spouses, or investors. It helped to avoid paying things such as taxes, or having people and the public ask pointed questions such as, "Geez, you're a public official. How did you make all that money?" Some countries implicated include Russia, China, UK, and Iceland. In connection with these documents, the Prime Minister of Iceland has already stepped down. UK Prime Minister David Cameron has been caught up as his dad ran an offshore fund through Mossack Fonseca. Not too surprisingly, some of the Chinese leadership and associates close to Putin are implicated as well, including a cellist. So yes, parents, maybe it's okay to put your kids into music instead of STEM careers. Looks like it's working out for Putin's friend. Why I feel this is really relevant is for a couple reasons. It's not because this is a revelation. I don't think this is too shocking for a lot of people. It's not that shocking that a rich elite, especially if they're from authoritarian countries such as Russia or China, are hiding their money from tax evasion. That kind of just makes sense. Oh my God, Mugabe's crooked? Go figure. This is more a case of there being an elephant room that a large part of the global community was intentionally ignoring, intentionally not seeing. And that elephant just took a big dump in the room, and now everybody, at least momentarily, has to pay attention. That elephant is inequality. Now, when I say inequality, I don't mean a natural inequality, as in from fair competition or choices, but an engineered inequality, at least partially supported by a fixed game, a tilted field of economic competition, allowing the economic elites of our global community to take advantage of the infrastructure, populations, and assets funded by everyone else's taxes. These economic elite, the 1%, they're not contributing to the roads, the education of the population, the health services needed for these populations, but they are sure benefiting off the populations, their infrastructures, and assets. And as I said, this is just a confirmation of what many of us has been suspecting. So I think there's going to be some large potential impacts from these documents. First, I think it's going to seriously undermine the confidence the general populace are going to have in both economic and political systems, and really weaken our ability to pull together and act in the common good when we reach our next economic crisis. Think about the subprime mortgage crisis in 2008. This was a result of private banks being greedy and stupid. For more information, just check out Michael Lewis's book, The Big Short, to better understand this. That was solved by the public's purse, funded by the public. Effectively, austerity measures were put in place, public funds were diverted, or publicly paid taxes were diverted from government spending on its citizens to bailing out banks. I think there is a high-level resentment that people who caused that disaster out of pure greed never paid for it. Banks are still paying large bonuses, and nobody really went to jail. So how would you think this would affect the citizens of these countries in general next time there is an economic crisis? and the government asks them to backstop it with their taxes. I say these citizens will probably be a little less motivated to stick their necks out this time. I think this is not just damaging to the 1%, but to governments as well, if not more so. Public officials have been implicated in this, but also because I think there's a perception that governments have not been attentive in curbing the 1%'s tax dodging and corruption. In fact, people are probably seeing these officials and high level of government complicit in this tax dodging, as much of this was legal. And remember, this is just one firm in one jurisdiction. There are many more. And I think that this is not only a corrosive challenge to the current economic elite and government's legitimacy, but to the very free trade socio-economic capitalist order they have created. To put it in simple speak, how long are you going to play a game that is blatantly fixed? Thanks for listening. I'm Douglas, and this is Douglas Weekly.